everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are well. April hasn't been a good month for the entertainment industry in India. We lost two legends, one after the other, Irfan Khan and Rishi Kapoor. And though Mr. Khan, Irfan Khan, he deserves an episode of his own. Today I will be dedicating this episode to Rishi Kapoor, and since the channel is all about nostalgia, so we are going to talk about him, and we are also going to watch one of the songs which is my favorite from one of his movies. But before we go there, let's talk a little about this legend. Born in 1952, he was the son of legendary Raj Kapoor. He comes from an illustrious film family with Shami Kapoor and Shashi Kapoor to call his uncles, and his own brothers Rajiv Kapoor and Ranbir Kapoor, who later on went on to do some great work of their own, especially Ranbir Kapoor. And he debuted when he was about 18 in his father's magnum opus called Mera Naam Joker. This is a movie which is very close to my heart. I don't know, I hear this from people that it wasn't a big hit. People did not really appreciate the concept back then when it has released. Sorry, there was a coughing fit, so we lost track of what we were talking about. But I'm smiling because that's the kind of person Rishi Kapoor was. He was a very warm, outgoing, extrovert, big on life, big on movies, big on food kind of a person. So this should more be like a celebration of his life, his work, and celebrating him as a person rather than just an obituaristic episode. So coming back to how he started, so he was barely 18 when he starred or made his debut in Mera Naam Joker, which came out in 1970. And he also won the Filmfare Award for Best Child Artist for that film. And if I was talking about how this movie was so ahead of its time, and Raj Kapoor had put in so much of his soul in that film, and I absolutely, as a creator, as a writer, as a creative person, I just really loved that movie. The scale at which it was made, and the people involved, and the stories involved. So it was huge. It had an opera kind of a treatment to that entire thing, and when this movie was being made, and it has been mentioned so many times by different people, including Mr. Rishi Kapoor, that the movie was made, it was an autobiographical-ish account of Mr. Raj Kapoor's life, and but when the movie came out, it was about 4 hours long with 2 interval breaks, and that kind of was something a little bit too much for the audiences back then, and therefore the movie completely bombed at the box office. And to salvage this disaster, Mr. Raj Kapoor came up with the next movie, which was a teenage love story, which also became a launching pad for Rishi Kapoor. So Bobby came out in 1973. He must be about what? 22, 23 when the movie actually went out, and this was a teenage love story with Romeo and Juliet ending to the tale, and the rich guy, poor guy. It was something which wasn't new, but the treatment and the way it was presented was something revolutionary for that time, because a lot of things we consider cliche now, like the stereotypical portrayal of Christian families, and the way the Christian girls dress up, and this is how rich people behave, this is how poor people behave, and those kind of things. But then back then, the songs of the film, and the young, handsome hero and the very beautiful heroine, they all became a rage of the 70s. And so that was the movie which kind of put Rishi Kapoor out there, and as a romantic lead, and as a lead character in mainstream cinema. And that is where he debuted. And from then on, he went on to star in about 90 or a little over 90 films as a romantic lead. And that's a lot of movies. And it is also said that he launched so many heroines in his movie, and many of them who had to start their careers, or who were not doing so well in their careers, and they partnered with Rishi, and then their movies started working, and they start getting more jobs, that sort of a thing. And he never said no to any newcomer, so he ended up launching quite a few of them. And the 90s, I remember particularly, where he was doing films with Juhi Chawla. He was doing films with newcomers like Divya Bharati, and all those films ended up making a name for these lead heroines of that time. And Meenakshi Seshadri, yeah, she was also one of them. So, and in between, I am going ahead of me, but some of the most prominent and some of my favorite films are definitely Kabhi Kabhi, but the one I love the most is Amar Akbar Anthony, and I absolutely love his energetic and madcap character of Akbar in there, who was who was street smart, and who knew what needed to be done at a particular instant, and he was such a good fit with the other two, Amitabh Bachchan's Anthony and Vinod Khanna's Amar. So it's my all-time classic favorite. But he wasn't there just to do some rom-coms or romantically chocolate hero kind of a roles. He also did some serious roles, which the one that I remember the most is the social drama Prem Road, where he played this idealistic Devdhar, and that character required a whole lot of conviction in innocence, and and honesty in the core, which he was able to bring out so beautifully through his character, which I can't imagine anybody else pulling that sort of a grounded, absolutely honest and innocent man, who would be there and would find the courage to challenge the social norms on a wide platform. So that was the character he played, which is really memorable. And there is another one with Hema Malini, and I forget the name of the film, where it is based on Ek Aachar Maili Si, the story, and where he played a character who has to marry his Bhabhi, his sister-in-law, after his brother dies. And that again was a hard-hitting social drama which talked about a lot of things that are prevalent in the society, and how to approach those problems, and how to give a perspective on those social issues of the time. So these are more notable performances which are not talked about in the same breath as, say, Amar Akbar Anthony, because people remember those performances, but very few people would come about and talk about Prem Rog or the one that I mentioned. And then in 1980 came Curse, which was a magnanimous hit, and the signature tune of the movie, the guitar, that can still give me goosebumps. So this movie was, it was a huge platform. He was playing a character who was reincarnated, and all sort of fancy things going on there. And he's a huge rock star, and the character was flamboyant. Yet in the later half, we see a more emotional, humane portrayal, and that was also very beautifully pulled off by Rishi Kapoor. And and then again in 1989 we had Chandni, which was again such a complex character, and it actually explored a man who is insecure, a man who doesn't know how to commit to his lady love while being himself being not equal or on equal footing, and therefore the insecurity that arises. And that was a beautiful portrayal there. It's not an easy job to actually display all those are the things that everybody feels, but it's very difficult to extract those emotions and display it on the face, because you're an actor, you need to do that, and he was able to do that effortlessly. And that's why these characters, these movies, they just remain etched in our minds, and these characters stay with us for so long. Then throughout the 90s, we had Deewana, which became the launching pad for Shah Rukh Khan. And that was again a beautiful story of a husband who was perceived to be dead by the wife and then comes back. There was Damini, which was again a very, very powerful performance, a social drama with a very, very powerful and disturbing theme of rapes and domestic violence that happens within the premises of the house, within the four walls of the house. And he was again playing a husband who wanted to support his wife, who was fighting for a crime committed within his house, and yet he was pulled back by his family, and that dilemma and the tension, and that was beautifully portrayed by him. These are some very difficult characters, some inadequate male characters that were written, which he was able to pull off so well. Very few actors would actually even approach or accept such roles, but he was the one who did, and did full justice to them. And then there was very fun Caper, Bol Radha Bol, and other films. Let me check. There were a lot of them. There was a bunch of movies that he did during the 90s, and some of them did well, some of them did not do so well. But as 2000 approached, he started tapering towards more serious, more character kind of roles. And you had Love Aajkal, which came out in 2000, and this kind of established him as a very bona fide character artist who would go on to do a lot of roles in a similar vein. But he surprised us again. We had Agnipath, we had Mulk, and these were the films where we saw a very different Rishi Kapoor, who was not mild, who was not the sweet old man, but a very feisty character fighting for what he believes in. D-Day with Irfan Khan, how can we forget that? So these were the movies that actually had started exploring him as an artist beyond than what we had already seen him doing. And it's such a shame that just when we were about to getting a hang of this new Mr. Rishi Kapoor that we hadn't seen before, he was taken away from us. Movies like Do Duni Char, where he teamed again with his wife, and Besharam tanked bad, but the chemistry between the three of them, Ranbir Kapoor and both his parents, it was such an incredible and endearing. In whatever scenes they appeared together, it's so much fun to watch them all in one frame on the screen. So it actually is, I don't want to do a chronological kind of a thing, because then that I am talking all that I like from all over the place. But that is how the memories, that is how they appear in my mind. So I don't think how else can I wrap this episode except watching one of the songs which is my absolute favorite. And I want to do that. I really want to. This is my ode, my nostalgia trip for Mr. Rishi Kapoor. Let's watch the song and we'll say a proper goodbye towards the end.
जमाने को अब तक है यार, याद मुझे आया है कैसे दिलबर का नाम, जिसने धोखा देकर नाम इश्क किया बदनाम। यही है साइबान कहानी प्यार की, किसी ने जान ली, किसी ने जान दी। एक हसीना थी, एक दीवाना था, क्या उम्र, क्या समा, क्या जमाना था। एक हसीना थी, एक दीवाना था, एक दिन वो मिले,
रोज मिलने लगे,
एक दिन वो मिले,
रोज मिलने लगे,
फिर मोहब्बत हुई,
बस कयामत हुई।
हो गए तुम कहाँ, सुन के ये अनजान है।
इश्क की वो गली, बात जिसकी चली,
उस गली में मेरा आना जाना था। एक हसीना थी, एक दीवाना था, क्या उम्र थी, क्या समा था, हसी ने कहा, उस हसी ने कहा,
सुनो जाने वफा, ये फलक ये ज़मीं, तेरे बिन कुछ नहीं, तुझ पे मरती हूँ मैं, प्यार करती हूँ मैं।
बात कुछ और थी, वो नजर चोर थी।
उसके दिल में छुपी चाहत धरती थी।
प्यार का तो फकत एक बहाना था, एक हसीना थी, एक दीवाना था। क्या उम्र थी, क्या समा था, क्या जमाना था। एक हसीना थी, एक दीवाना था। बेवफा यार ने अपने महबूब से ऐसा धोखा किया, ऐसा धोखा किया, जहर उसको दिया, जहर उसको दिया।
That was an epic song from an epic film, and it's one of my favorite. There are so many other favorites, but this is the one I chose because it's like grand and just the way he was, so grand, and you know, such a bona fide movie star. Talking about him, you know, there's so many characters that stay with you. Off lately in Agnipath. Kapoor and Sons, he played such an endearing character in that film, and it's a shame, but what we can do is keep watching his films, remembering him for who he was. Yes, and I'm gonna show all his movies to my children when they grow up and are able to understand and enjoy Hindi movies. And yes, a great actor, a great human being, and thank you for all the memories that you have given us, our childhood, our growing up years, and it's been fantastic watching you on screen, and God bless you wherever you are, and yes, a lot of hugs and kisses to you. So this is me signing off. Goodbye and take care of yourselves.